The Earth preserves landscapes that seem carefully designed, as if someone had taken the time to shape them. They are not merely visually beautiful places, but spaces where rock, light, and the passage of years come together naturally. Here, the terrain is not a simple backdrop. It guides the eye and defines the character of each scene. This journey invites us to look calmly, to imagine our own steps through these places, and to feel how the landscape shifts and expands before us. Let us begin the journey. Number 12. Split Apple Rock, New Zealand. On the northern coast of New Zealand's South Island, Split Apple Rock appears as a geological curiosity that surprises with its precision. It is a large spherical rock, divided almost exactly into two halves, as if someone had drawn a perfect line across its surface. This symmetry creates an immediate sense of disbelief, reinforced by the peaceful surroundings. The rock rises just above sea level in a bay of calm waters and soft tones, accompanied by small beaches of pale sand and coastal vegetation that naturally frame the scene. Up close, the separation reveals a clean fracture, without visible deformation, reinforcing the impression of balance and order. The experience changes with the light. At sunrise and sunset, golden reflections accentuate the curvature of both halves and turn the place into an ideal spot for quiet observation. Although its size is not monumental, Split Apple Rock shows that visual impact does not always depend on scale, but on the harmony between form, environment, and perception. Number 11. Old Harry Rocks, England. On the southern coast of England, Old Harry Rocks rises as a natural composition defined by verticality and simplicity. These white chalk formations emerge beside the English Channel, like columns separated by the sea, aligned in an almost geometric manner. From the coastal paths, the contrast between the bright white rock and the deep blue water creates a clear and powerful image. Each column retains a distinct shape, the result of millions of years of slow transformation, adding individual character to a visually coherent whole. Viewed from sea level, perception changes. The walls become more imposing, and the visible layers of rock reveal the site's geological history. The environment conveys a mix of calm and solidity, reinforced by the constant sound of water and sea wind. Old Harry Rocks serves as a natural link in the journey, expanding the scale compared to the previous point and adding a sense of open space. It is a landscape that does not need complexity to impress, relying instead on the clarity of its forms and the strength of the coastal setting. Number 10. Torres del Paine, Chile. At the southern tip of Chile, the Torres del Paine dominate the landscape, with a presence that is felt even before arrival. This group of granite spires rises abruptly more than 2,500 meters above sea level, contrasting with turquoise lakes, glaciers, and vast plains. From a distance, the towers stand out as a clear focal point. Up close, their scale becomes difficult to grasp. Light plays a fundamental role. At sunrise, the walls take on pink and orange hues, while the rest of the massif remains in shadow, creating a shifting, dynamic scene. The environment enhances the experience, with well-defined trails that allow safe and respectful exploration of the area. Each climatic change, frequent in the region, transforms the landscape and adds new visual layers. The Torres del Paine impress not only by their height, but by the way they structure the entire surrounding territory, becoming a clear example of how geology can define the complete identity of a place. Number 9. The Three Sisters, Australia. In Australia's Blue Mountains, 3 sandstone pillars rise against a valley covered by vast eucalyptus forests. Known as the Three Sisters, these formations stand out more for their visual composition than for their height. The contrast between the ochre tones of the rock, the continuous green of the valley, and the frequent presence of mist creates an enveloping atmosphere. From the lookouts, the 3 columns appear aligned, forming a balanced scene that invites contemplation. As the mist moves, the shapes are revealed and concealed, giving the landscape a sense of constant motion. The experience is completed by well-maintained paths that allow observation of the surroundings from different angles, always within a safe framework. The Three Sisters act as a pause within the journey, offering a serene and accessible beauty. It is a place where the human scale remains present, allowing a direct connection with the landscape without losing visual depth or geological character. Number 8. Mono Lake, United States. Mono Lake presents a landscape that seems frozen in time. Located in California, this saline lake contains formations known as tufa towers, calcareous structures that rise from the water like irregular towers. These shapes originated through prolonged chemical processes and now fully define the site's visual identity. The water reflects tones ranging from soft greens to intense blues, depending on the light and time of day. The flat shores allow for almost perfect reflections, doubling the forms and creating striking visual compositions. Walking through designated areas invites close observation of the porous textures of the tufa, while open views help convey the lake's full extent. Mono Lake demonstrates how an apparently simple environment can generate a deep and memorable experience. It is an ideal space for quiet observation, where every detail contributes to an overall sense of balance and uniqueness. Number 7. Fairy Chimneys, Turkey. In the Cappadocia region, the landscape transforms into a collection of volcanic tuff pillars known as fairy chimneys. These structures, capped by more resistant layers, have taken on varied forms over thousands of years. As one moves through the valley, cones, slender towers, and groupings resembling small stone cities appear. Morning light highlights the porous textures and creates elongated shadows that emphasize the relief. From the air, the distribution of the formations reveals almost geometric patterns, while at ground level, each column displays unique details. Cappadocia offers a rich and dynamic visual experience, where every turn of the path presents a new perspective. Despite its international recognition, the place retains its ability to surprise, showing how the repetition of natural forms can generate an almost infinite diversity. Number 6. Spider Rock, United States. In Canyon de Chelly, Arizona, Spider Rock rises as a solitary spire, dominating its surroundings. At over 240 meters tall, its simple form contrasts with the complexity of the canyon around it. From designated viewpoints, the rock appears as a clear vertical point amid a network of stratified walls. Sunset light enhances its volume and casts shadows that reinforce its presence. Observed closely, patterns of erosion and variations in color reveal the land's history. Spider Rock marks a moment of transition in the journey, where formal simplicity becomes visual strength. It is an example of how a single structure can organize the perception of an entire landscape, offering a direct and powerful experience. Number 5. Old Man of Hoy, Scotland. Off the coast of the Orkney Islands, the Old Man of Hoy appears as an isolated sandstone tower rising beside the ocean. Its slender silhouette and reddish color contrast with the sea and nearby cliffs. The visual experience changes with the weather. On overcast days, the tones deepen. Under clear skies, the scene gains sharp clarity. The constant interaction between water, wind, and rock creates a sense of continuous movement in the environment. The Old Man of Hoy adds dynamism to the journey, introducing the marine element and a direct relationship between the formation and its setting. It is a landscape that invites patient observation, appreciating how nature maintains balance between form and context. Number 4. Shiprock, United States. In the New Mexico desert, Shiprock rises as an unmistakable landmark on the horizon. This volcanic formation is the exposed core of an ancient volcano, visible from great distances. Its vertical structure and the dikes extending from its base create clear lines that organize the surrounding landscape. From the air, these formations appear as precise strokes across the desert's surface. From the ground, basalt textures reveal long processes of cooling and transformation. Shiprock conveys a sense of solidity and permanence, reinforced by the open space around it. It is a clear example of how geology can create visual reference points that define an entire territory. Number 3. AlUla, Saudi Arabia. AlUla is a valley where sandstone has been shaped into a surprising variety of forms. Pillars, arches, and undulating walls unfold across the terrain, creating a diverse and ever-changing landscape. Light constantly transforms the environment. Warm tones dominate in the morning, deeper hues appear at day's end. Beyond the best-known formations, the valley offers narrow canyons and wide plains that expand the visual experience. From the air, the play of light and shadow reinforces the sense of antiquity and scale. AlUla combines scale, detail, and variety, maintaining the upward rhythm of the journey and offering a rich, immersive experience. Number 2. Halong Bay, Vietnam. Halong Bay stretches out as a natural labyrinth formed by more than 1,000 limestone islets rising from the sea. From an aerial view, the ensemble resembles a mosaic of irregular shapes. At water level, vertical walls and cavities create an enveloping atmosphere. Frequent mist adds depth to the landscape, softening lines and creating a sense of floating. Each islet has its own distinct features, making the journey varied and dynamic. Halong Bay stands out for its visual complexity and for the way water and rock interact to create a unique environment. It is a setting that prepares the visitor for the culmination of the journey. Number 1. Mount Roraima, Venezuela, Brazil, and Guyana. Mount Roraima rises with imposing calm, like an ancient plateau watching the jungle from above. Its vertical walls, exceeding 900 meters in height, draw a clear boundary between two worlds. Below, continuous and vibrant green. Above, a different territory, marked by rock, moisture, and silence. The tepui's form is so defined that it seems to follow a precise, almost geometric design, difficult to attribute to chance. From the base, the eye follows the straight walls until they disappear into persistent clouds. The mist is never static. It advances slowly, opens, closes the landscape again, and transforms the scene moment by moment. Upon reaching the summit, the environment changes completely. The ground breaks into ancient rocks, deep fissures, and damp surfaces where water collects in small natural mirrors. Everything feels suspended in another time. Seen from the air, Roraima reveals itself as a natural fortress, isolated in the middle of a green ocean, separated from the rest of the world by its own height. It does not impose itself with loudness, but with presence. It closes any journey with a clear sense of origin and permanence, reminding us that the Earth, with patience and consistency, can create landscapes that remain in memory long after they have been seen. Zhangjiajie, China. Zhangjiajie is one of those places that seem unreal even when you are there. The landscape is made up of hundreds of stone pillars rising vertically, some exceeding 200 meters in height, covered in vegetation and almost always wrapped in soft mist. It is not an environment understood at once. It reveals itself gradually as weather and light change. Walking its trails is a slow experience. Each bend opens a different view, and each lookout offers a new composition, columns appearing and disappearing among clouds, deep valleys, and a silence that invites unhurried observation. The feeling is not one of aggressive grandeur, but of balance. Everything seems exactly where it should be. Mist plays a central role. At times it hides much of the landscape, and moments later returns it in fragments, creating the impression that the mountains are floating. This constant alternation keeps attention alert and makes even a long visit never feel repetitive. Zhangjiajie does not aim to impress with a single powerful image, but with a continuous sequence of moments. It is a place best enjoyed slowly, letting the environment set the pace. The experience does not end in a photograph. It remains in memory as a feeling of calm, openness, and quiet wonder. Bungle Range, Australia. In the remote northwest of Australia, the Bungle Range offers a landscape unlike any other. Its rock formations take the shape of large rounded domes, with alternating dark and light bands that resemble enormous stone beehives. Seen from the air, these structures create an almost graphic pattern, ordered and surprising. Walking through the area, the sense of scale changes completely. The domes, which from afar appear compact, become tall walls and broad curves that surround the visitor. Passages between the rocks are narrow and quiet, and ambient sound is muffled, reinforcing a feeling of serene isolation. Light constantly transforms the landscape. In the morning, colors are soft and earthy. As the day advances, shadows accentuate the bands and highlight the relief. There is no single dominant point. The appeal lies in the whole, in the repetition of forms that never feels monotonous. Bungle does not impress through extreme height or drama, but through coherence. Everything seems to follow the same natural language, patient and precise. It is a place that invites slow walking, touching the rock, and understanding how time can create beauty through simple, constant processes. A silent, deep experience that is very difficult to forget. Closing. This journey through rock formations reminds us that the planet still holds places capable of inspiring genuine wonder. These are not merely striking landscapes, but settings where nature expresses itself calmly, without haste, leaving visible traces of time's passage. Each formation we have seen has its own identity, a different way of relating to the space around it and of provoking a response in those who observe it. Exploring these places is much more than moving from one point to another. It is about learning to look attentively, to pause, and to understand that beauty does not always impose itself immediately. Sometimes it is discovered gradually, in a change of light, in a texture, in the silence that surrounds the environment. These landscapes invite respectful exploration, following appropriate paths and understanding that being part of the experience also means caring for what is visited.